Фала ви што останавте да го проследите ова кратко излагање на нашиот гостин. На почеток не кажав дека сакаме со оваа проекцијата да дадеме почит на David Lynch, на 15 јануари не напушти неговата величина, затоа сакавме да покажеме една почит и барем да прикажеме еден негов филм, но и да прикажеме една принаква филозофска перспектива на неговото творештво. Сега ќе се префрлам на англиски, затоа што гостинот не знае македонски, иако во еден неврзан разговор ми кажа дека јазикот наш му е многу мил и можеби наредниот пат ќе може нешто да каже на македонски. So I'm honored that tonight we have Assistant Professor Dr. Özer Özkantar from Department of Gaziantep, from the Department of Film Design and Film Directing. His academic interests revolve around film analysis, semiotics, and gender relationships in cinema. He's also working as a translator and also teaches the subjects of film aesthetic and having this interdisciplinary approach in his work. So, Özer, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. Hi, everyone. Actually, it's a great honor to be here. It's a great honor to be the part of this organization. And today we're going to talk about David Lynch. It's going to be a very short talk, but some points are going to be crucial for you, I think, because, everyone loves David Lynch, but understanding David Lynch sometimes seems a kind of challenge because, his films are not just films. They are not just American films. They have multi-layered structures. And my speech in terms of David Lynch and it doesn't work. Better? Can you hear me? Yep, that's great. Okay, so exploring David Lynch and Lost Highway is not just a kind of, film analysis, actually. Because I believe that David Lynch does something unique, and I need to summarize it like this. David Lynch changed cinematic meaning into cinematic experience. So when you watch David Lynch films, we need to say that we have an experience on David Lynch. We can't say that we just watch a film, no. David Lynch is someone, a director, must be observed and experienced. Because of this, while I'm preparing my presentation, I try to focus upon some philosophical aspects, and I try to make some points more clear on Lost Highway. But I need to say something about the film. I'm repeating myself about the same theme, same scenario, but I'm gonna going and repeating it actually, because David Lynch wants us from something different. They do not want from us to decode the film. He wants from us to asking questions, experiencing the film. So we are not looking for lots of answers. We're going on asking questions, we're going on thinking about the films, we're going on searching for the new meanings with multi-layered structures. So can you change the slide for me, please? I'm gonna prepare a sort of, content part. Actually, I completed my introduction section, but I will go on with David Lynch's cinematic stance before the short analysis of Lost Highway. And I'm gonna complete my presentation with a conclusion part. Actually, I wrote an essay on David Lynch. All sentences you're gonna see on the presentation belong to me. They're a little bit emotional, related to my PhD, because I wrote a PhD thesis on David Lynch and women in David Lynch. And departed David Lynch is so crucial man for my life, because when I first watched the Mulholland Drive when I was 18 years old, I was shocked. and I realized something very unique. David Lynch is doing something unique, and nobody fulfilled it before in American cinematic structure. So, even if I'm gonna focus upon the Lost Highway, I have to highlight the Mulholland Drive too, because their connections are really important in terms of understanding David Lynch. Can you change the slide for the introduction section? I'm just, give some important points related to David Lynch's cinematic stance. Yep. Indeed, I need to say something about David Lynch as a director, because as an American filmmaker, he did something so different. Actually, he has managed to challenge the American narrative. Because, when we're talking about commercial cinema, when we're talking about Hollywood, the structure is very classical. So it's a linear structure, But David Lynch changed it. He transforms it. And after David Lynch, maybe the deep structure of American cinema is also has some alterations, has some changes. Indeed, he's a truly unique voice in the world of cinema. After David Lynch, maybe some independent directors have a chance to learn to make a film with a low budget. So David Lynch is not just a director. He's a painter, he's a musician, he's also interested in graphic. He's a really complete artist. And with all these combinations, he has a potential to form a kind of different cinematic universe. So I'm repeating myself about it. David Lynch is not a director to watch. We need to observe him. We need to experience his films. And as long as you do it, you start to say, everyone says after the end of the Lost Highway, I don't understand anything from the film. But it's not like this, actually. Because Lynch creates a very multi-layered world, comprises of dreams, subconscious, your fears, your desires, and maybe your consciousness. So while looking over David Lynch and his cinematic point of view, we need to understand some important structures. Can you change the slide for me, please, to remember some important points, Yeah, the first thing that I need to say that he really gives importance to surrealism because of painting and because of his education. He really gives importance to surrealism. So when you watch the Lost Highway, you have chance to get some implications related to surrealism. Also, almost all films, apart from some straight story or blue velvet maybe, there is a very strong psychological depth, and also we can say that there is a clear metaphysical inquiry in David Lynch cinematic stance. So this sentence is really crucial for the presentation, I think. His films often blur the line between reality and dream, and it presents fragmented narratives that invite multiple interpretations. So while you watch an American film, maybe it is generally easy to interpret within a structure, within a technique, within a method. But when we're talking about David Lynch, you may interpret lots of different things related to film structure. And the most important thing that I have to underline related to David Lynch is he resists conventional storytelling. So in American cinematic linear structure is different in Lynch's works. And with this technique, we have a chance to think again and again and again. We have a chance to search for the meaning of the world, but not just real world. Also, we are focusing upon the dream world. We are focusing upon the subconscious. We are focusing upon our fears, our realities, our dream world, and our inner world. Can you change the slide? If it is possible, of course. Yeah. Actually, the first thing that I need to say about the narration is time. In Lynch's cinema, time is not only physical, but also it is psychological and existential. And in Lynch's work, time is not linear, and dreams can be as real as waking life, and it's closely related to Bergson. And also, there are lots of philosophical references in David Lynch's cinematic point of view. Yes, he's interested in painting, he's interested in music, other art forms, but also he has a really strong connection to philosophy because he really wants the audience to ask questions again and again. Giving answers is not the first thing for David Lynch. We need to reach the answers, not really for David Lynch. We need to think about it. We need to focus upon the mystery. We need to focus upon the nature of the human beings. We need to focus upon the dreams, dream worlds, our subconscious, you know? So when we're looking at the narration, we're looking at our dreams, actually. And normally, most of us dream a lot, probably, but nobody remembers every detail after they wake up. But in David Lynch's dream world is a little bit different, I think. Yes, it's closely related to human beings' dreams world, but he is focused on unconscious mind. So our fears, our ID, our Freudian point of views may be the most important point that I need to highlight related to David Lynch's cinematic narration. Can you change the slide for me, please? Yep. Also, Lynch explores the illusion of a unified self, revealing identity as layered, shifting, and contradictory. And also, the characters are like this in his films. In Mulholland Drive, it is the same. And, Lost Highway, it is the same. And also, Inland Empire, showing the same quality, same features in terms of the layered, shattered identities. And also, it can be referred to some Lacan's point of views, or maybe we can talk about Nietzsche's mass subject. And also, can you change the slide? I'm going faster because I want to talk about much on Lost Highway. As you see here, there are three important categorizations about David Lynch and his cinematic point of views. As I said before, his films are generally surreal, and the structure is nonlinear. He's really got help from psychological and existential themes, so you may see lots of fear, trauma, and desire. But the way he explains these themes are a little bit different, and of course, it is unique. And the final thing that I have to highlight is that his great sound design and atmosphere in the films. Lynch is a master of using sound and silence to evoke mood, tension, and atmosphere. So the way he uses sound is really extraordinary, and in this way, he has a chance to create controversial and, a kind of different thriller atmosphere. Let's go on with Lost Highway. Can you change the slide, please? Thank you. Yeah. I want to ask a question. Is there anyone here who is the first one that you have watched the Lost Highway? Not too much, I think. Just 3 or 4 people. So most of you have watched Lost Highway, and this one is going to be the 4th time for me. And I'm still watching it, and I'm still asking questions to myself about the film. Because this film is not just a film for understanding. As I said before, it's a great example for film experience. So, I need to say that. It's a film we are meant to experience. It is mysterious, yeah. It is unsettling, it's confusing, but that's the point. David Lynch wants this. He wants to create an atmosphere, create an experience that you never faced before. Because of this, the time loops, the time bends, and we live between reality and dream again and again, actually. And the Lost Highway, yes, it's not a puzzle. Don't need to solve the puzzle. It's a kind of cinematic expression. So there are lots of mystery, yes. There are double characters. There are, different kind of voices, different kind of motives. There's a femme fatale, but not a kind of femme fatale that we see lots of films. So yes, we see lots of American figures, but with a Lynchian way. What does Lynchian way? A way that belongs to David Lynch, just for David Lynch. Because of this, when we look at the Lost Highway, we see some important points that I have to highlight. Can you change the slide, please? I'm going to categorize the Lost Highway to make some points more clear, but no need to make some points clear, actually, for this film. While I'm watching the film, before this presentation, I ask some questions to myself, and I write the questions here, as you see. So, Lost Highway doesn't give us answers, but it creates some questions like this. Who am I? What is real? And the final question, can I escape my past, my wishes, my desires, and my fears? So, this film is not just about solving a mystery. This film is not just a detective story. Yes, it belongs to film noir, neo-noir. Yeah, there's a femme fatale, yes. It's a little bit American, but with his technique, with his stance, it's changing. So it's about living inside it. This film invites us to experience the unknown. Yes, we feel at home, yeah, but in the dark side. Yeah. Yes, some parts in the film are okay, yeah. You have a chance to follow it clearly, but in a darkest way. So, with this way, with this technique, with these questions, Lost Highway turns into a kind of cinematic experience, not just watching a film, not just watching an American film by David Lynch. Can you change the slide? I categorize this film under three important parts. The first part is about the structure, narrative structure. As you see, we have a chance to see the collapse of the linear reality. So the film has a very different narrative structure, as I said before. Lynch doesn't explain how or why this shift happens. Fred, our main character, simply becomes Pete, as if slipping into a different version of himself. But time doesn't move forward. This is the point which really should be focused on. It falls in on itself. The film ends much like it begins, creating a circular structure that reflects confusion, guilt, and perhaps a desire to escape reality. I'm asking a question again. Did you recognize the song in the beginning of the film and at the end of the film? David Bowie, I am deranged. And I am deranged means I'm lost. So the film starts with the meaning of lost, finishes with the meaning of loss. Because Lynch wants us to lose ourselves in the film, not finding a meaning. So he tries to give a path, give a place for us to lose in it, not find lots of meanings, okay? Let's go on with the presentation with a fast way. As you see, the structure is really broken, and when we look at the characters, probably the most crucial part about the presentation is gonna be the characters. Lost Highway have so different characters. Yeah, we have Fred and Pete. They are just two different people. They seem to be the two sides of the same person, actually. Fred, overwhelmed by jealousy, fear, and guilt, mentally escapes into the fantasy of being someone else, younger, freer, more sexy, and without responsibility. And also the other character, Rini and Alice, in Pete's world is important. She's both victim and femme fatale, and both distant and seductive. Like Fred and Pete, she's a kind of fragmented, shattered identity, actually. So in this way, Lynch suggests that identity isn't stable. It's changing, it's shifting, it's transforming. It shifts with memory, it shifts with emotions, some traumas, some subconscious, actually. And who we think we are may just be a story we tell ourselves to survive. I wrote these sentences a week ago. I really give importance to these sentences in terms of Lost Highway. The other part of the presentation, can you open it for me, please? I'm gonna complete it. If you feel bored, sorry for this, but I need to give some important points related to this. Lynch style in the film, I think you see it a lot. You know, the characters, the structure, also the music, the atmosphere, and also the use of the color is very Lynchian, as you see. Especially the colors like blue and red are very common in Lynch cinema, and they generally symbolic. They generally symbolize death or sex or violence. And in Lost Highway, fire, blue color and red color are very common, especially in the first part of the film, and they generally refer to death and fear and sometimes subconscious of the mind. Can you change the style? Can you change the slide? Yep, also the sound is also crucial. I think music is really wonderful in this film. I think you heard Rammstein, David Bowie, and Marilyn Manson. At the end of the film also, you saw a man, probably he was killed by someone. Also, he was the leader guitarist of Marilyn Manson, I think. Yeah. And so the music is a little bit different, but the colors are really dark and claustrophobic. There are full of distorted places, shallows, dark sides. It's all about our, subconscious. And I believe that. It's meant to reflect inner life, our fears, our fantasies, our desires. All these darkness, all these colors, all these sounds, all these atmospheres are really closely related to our subconscious and our unconscious of the mind. The final slide, can you change it for me, please? Yep. I'm going to read some parts. I need to highlight them. I need to stress them because they're like my summary. In true Lynchian style, the film doesn't explain who or what he is actually. We are not so sure who Fred he is actually. It simply confronts us with the unknown. And that's very much part of the Lynch philosophy. He believes cinema should reflect the way we dream, the way we fear, the way we feel, and not just the way we think actually. And it's not just a film, It's something psychological landscape. It's a kind of escape from our realities. We are integrating into dreams, but also dreams are really dangerous to, observe. And when we are looking at the plays, we see that time falls, identity fractures, guilt echoes endlessly during the film. And the looping structure and the shifting characters also make the film so complex, so multi-layered. The final slide. And then I'm going to complete it. The last paragraph. In Lost Highway, Lynch doesn't offer a clear path. Yeah, it's not very easy to follow, I believe this. He hands us a map without labels, and dares us to find meaning in the unknown. We try to understand the meaning in an unknown world, in a mysterious world. And maybe that's the most honest kind of cinema there is, one that reflects the mystery of being human. Can you change the slide? This is the end of the presentation. Thank you so much for your invitation and for your participation. It's great to be here. It's great to be the part of the organization. It's great to speak with you. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, I can try to answer if you want.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you a lot. So yeah,
thanks a lot.
We have just like 5 minutes, so if anyone has any question or critique to the film or to Özer, we are happy to hear it.
You can ask. I try to my best.
Okay, Özer, maybe I can start a little bit by provoking you, because you said in your PhD you analyze also the female or the gender elements in David Lynch films, especially in this one. If we are analyzing the Patricia Arquette character, she's, like you said, she's a double character. Like, she's desired but also demonized. But she is maybe the only character in the film that is a little bit shown through the male gaze, you know. Like if we do this like post-feminist reading, maybe we will find a little bit of misogynistic lenses that we can analyze it. Like, do you find this little bit of problematic, or maybe you know something about Lynch that wanted to tell us?
Actually, my PhD thesis is directly on about it. I studied male gaze, and I discussed whether David Lynch is a sort of misogynistic person or not. When we look at the films, of course, the women characters on Lost Highway or other films are really so much sexy, erotic, and as you see, one of the women characters is a porn star. So when you look at David Lynch's cinematic stance related to women, we can clearly say that he doesn't like women, maybe. But the situation is not like this, actually. When you have a chance to read about David Lynch, or when you have a chance to read about interviews on David Lynch, every woman works with Lynch says the same thing. Lynch is a great producer, great director, and a very great gentleman. And as a man, he's so kind to women. And also, Laura Dern and Isabella Rossellini say the same things. No, this is just art. David Lynch just wants to create a different atmosphere by using women figures. So both David Lynch and women characters in the films reject it. But if we look at it critically, we can easily say that David Lynch uses too much male gaze. And as you see during the Lost Highway, we have a chance to observe Rennie and Alice in a very erotic way. So I think the answer is clear.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you.
You have a question? Oh, well.
I'm speaking too much, sorry for this.
No, we have like 2-3 minutes more. Like, anyone else like want to ask some questions maybe?
If you want, I can answer.
Okay, I can try once again. Yeah. Okay. Because you said that David Lynch doesn't like logical explanation. He has this aversion. He's allergic to mathematical solvement of his films. But you as in academia, you need to have this definitive interpretation. These films are this, Lynch trying to do this. So tell me, are you like ambivalent towards a little bit of your work when you are trying to decode Lynch in terms of you have an academic mind, but you are analyzing the most unacademic artist, let's say?
Yeah, wonderful question. Thank you. I use two different methods to understand what David Lynch tries to do. The first one is semiotics, and the second one is psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis helped me a lot because he is working on dreams. The films are about dreams, and psychoanalysis, are all about dreams. So when you're focusing upon postmodernism, film noir, and psychoanalysis, you have a chance to create a kind of triangle to decode the films, because his cinematic point of view are closely related to unknown or non-real things sometimes. So the first technique that I use for analyzing the films or for decoding the films is psychoanalysis, and maybe it works for an academical output. The second one that I have chosen for decoding the films is semiotics, because women figures are so sexy, so attractive, so beautiful. All of the films are like this, so it's very easy to, focusing upon the design, some costumes, some makeup, some choices related to women, some generalizations related to David Lynch, and women have some clues related to film and its meaning. But of course, I believe something very different. And yes, we need to experience it, but also we need to analyze it. But analyzing David Lynch should be not direct interpretations. I think while we're focusing upon the David Lynch, we need to go on asking questions. So asking questions, creating a philosophical atmosphere, and creating a sort of dilemmas, make the film more layered, make the David Lynch cinematic system more logical and understandable. This is my answer for your question.
Thank you for your presentation. Okay,
Yes.
very well, short question. Sorry. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Wait.
I have watched this movie before once, and while I am watching this time, I think I have it dawns on me a question. I think I can make classification the images in this movie two types. One type image is about the power. I can see two kinds of power here. Coercive power, which is police, the detectives, and they are not smiling. They are just, they are standing, they are looking unemotionally, and they are very strict and rigid. And the second power is, industry, economic power. There is a porn industry, and the owner of this industry is running a business, and they are using the woman. Okay, they are making money. Against them, we can see the intensification of the characters, and there are some moments, making love moments, and the color and the images are changing, and we can see the intensification. It is a kind of line of flight, which is the Deleuzian term, and there is a crack. Maybe we can make a distinction between the images, molar, which is the power, and the molecular images, which is the intensification of our emotions. What do you think about it?
Thank you for your answer and for the question. Actually, for the power, actually, I have to say something important. Yes, you're so right about it. So the owner of the business named Dick Lawrence, and because of the name, it is really patriarchal name, and then also you say that another category. You are talking about policies, detectives, but they are not smiling, and then and with the style of David Lynch, you say there are two different categories, two different character structures. So I agree with you about this, but maybe philosophically you are so right. But when I look over David Lynch's cinematic journey and cinematic experience, this is closely related to David Lynch's filmmaking preferences, because he's very American, he knows how to make American films, and he creates some important American references. So by using detectives in this way, maybe it's a kind of reference to Hollywood or a kind of criticism to Hollywood. Maybe using this porn industry is a sort of criticism to not Hollywood but the this industry, and he's criticizing these two powers. You say detectives, you say porn industry, and maybe he's criticizing it but creating these extraordinary characters. So I believe that this technique is a sort of indirect criticism by David Lynch in terms of American cinematic realities and in porn industry with regard to power and identity. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Everybody want
to... you really need to finish now. Thank you a lot for your answers and for your presentation. If anyone wants to talk with Özer, he's available also tomorrow here. So this is your last chance to talk with him. And if you can, enjoy for our future film now. Thank you.